I tell you what, these transfers that I've done in between episodes, I have absolutely smashed it. Hello and welcome back to Around the Block. Hope you're all doing well today and looking forward to another episode with CSKA Moscow. Today we've got a 3-game special for you. We've got 2 legs against Randers FC in the Europa Conference League 4th qualifying round. And in between those 2 games, we've got a local derby against Dinamo Moscow. So we're back here once again in Moscow with CSKA Moscow, obviously. And last episode, we went through the transfers that we'd done on the stream on Sunday and a few things like that. And the transfers were a little bit lackluster and the team wasn't quite where we wanted it to be. But since then, I think we've got it pretty much to where we want it to be, at least for now, which I'm really pleased with. Now, with some players leaving the club, the rest of the team haven't been very happy that I've sort of kicked some players out of the squad. And as a result, a few times they've come to me and they've been quite cross about it. But most of the time, I've been able to cheer them up, which has been absolutely fantastic. And insert that Viking Dan meme, which is just absolutely incredible from the streamer showdown this past weekend. But I think before we get into anything else in today's episode properly, we need to go through these transfers. So today's episode probably going to be a slightly long one with 3 games and plenty of transfers to talk about. So first things first, we need to talk about players that have left the club. Now, you saw a few players leave last time. Since then, loads have gone out on loan. 1 or 2 youth players have gone out. And of course, the big one is Sergei Andreev, who went to Manchester United for £31.5 million after they found his minimum fee release clause. But we're not too fussed about that because we never got to use him in the first place. Yes, he does look amazing for 19 years old, but we never really got to use him. So it's not like we're suddenly missing him because we didn't get to use him personally. But what we have done is get rid of Ruslan C04. Now, he's the guy that was desperate to leave last time. And I said, no, I want to stay at the club. And then he kicked up a fuss. And he then kept on kicking up a fuss for a while. So I thought, okay, we're just going to sell you. So I sold him to Krasnodar, which is it's a little bit annoying because, of course, it's a bit of a rival. And he is a relatively good right back, but he's not a wing back. Like, he's got terrible crossing, terrible dribbling, and that's what I like. I like an offensive wing back, not a full back that stays back and defends. So he wasn't really going to fit into our system too well. So he wanted to leave. I was kind of happy to let him leave in the end. So off he's gone. He's gone to Krasnodar for £5 million. For £10 million, we have sold this guy, Efrain Alvarez. Now, he's an attacking midfielder. He was the best attacking midfielder we had left at the club after we sold the other one to Manchester United. And yes, he is very good technically, but his physicals, his mentals aren't brilliant. They're not the best that they could be. So I think we could probably find a younger person with better mentals and physicals who can then improve on the technicals as well, as a bit of a hint for what might come later on. And just for a little bit of reference as well, the token Brazilian Douglas Luiz is going to be leaving the club. We're waiting on a work permit for him to go to join Copenhagen instead, to get rid of a player that was not going to get too much game time. He is the best, apparently, CDM, but we're not using CDM as much. He's like right down on the list on midfielders, which is what we need to be using a bit more. So he's going to be leaving the club soon. So that's another £8 million or so we're going to be making there. So those 3 players, or 2 players have left the club and 3 will be leaving it. Now, since you were here last time, we have made 5 signings, as you can see here, ranging in prices. The first one for £21 million is a big transfer, but it's one we definitely need, and he's going to be a great player for us. To replace our right back in Srivkov, we brought in Andrei Borisov. You love to see it. £21 million is quite a lot of money, but he's a fantastic wing back. Really good crossing, really good dribbling, some good technique, and some of his technicals are great. Mentals are pretty good, and his physicals are really good as well. Has come from our rival Lokomotiv Moscow. We spent a lot of money on him, but he is worth it. He's got caps for Russia. He's only going to get a bit better because he's only 22 years old or so. So Borisov is going to be absolutely fantastic. And then to replace Alvarez, who's left to go to West Ham United for £7.57 million, we've brought in Ruslan Cherchev, which I think is potentially how I say his name. He's not quite as good in the technical areas, but his mentals and his physicals are a whole lot better. And once his technicals improve, he's only 22 years old, they'll get better. He'll be much better than Alvarez that we had before. And interestingly, this guy used to play for CSKA Moscow. We sold him to Manchester United a few seasons ago, and now we've bought him back, which is obviously quite nice. So welcome back to the club, Ruslan Cherchev. Absolutely fantastic stuff. These next 3 transfers for a combined total of £23.5 million, I think we've got some incredible value for money here. First up, coming in from Ruben Kazan for £8 million, Vadim Sadyakov. He comes in as the best centre-back at the club. 3-star current ability, 4-star current ability, 4-star potential as well, 23 years old. So sort of reaching that sort of peak development. Hopefully his heading will improve just a little bit in that time. But again, Really, really good mentals, really, really good physicals. He's going to be a great centre-back for us. Crucially, is left-footed as well, so we can have him playing on the left-hand side of defence, which I think is much more useful. I love having a left-footed centre-back and things like that. I think that's really helpful. On a relatively modest contract for how good he is, so I think he'll be a great player for us. Has been playing football regularly in the Russian Premier League for a long time, since he was particularly young. So he's got a lot of experience, and that is why at 23 years old, his mentals are absolutely incredible for his age. We then brought in Joseph Mohamed from Feyenoord for £12 million, and he is probably the best midfielder we've got at the club now. 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential, and again, physical is really good. Mental's lacking maybe a little bit, but those technicals are very, very good for his age, and are going to improve slowly just a little bit. Not been capped for the Netherlands actual team yet, but has got 43 under 21 caps, so surely at some point soon, if he gets a good bit of form with us, he'll be called up for the national squad, which is great. We're going to train him up to be a bit more of a Mazzala, because he's got really good attributes for that. Obviously long shots potentially a little bit low, but I think he looks like a good player, and we can try and train him to become a nice Mazzala and things like that. So welcome Joseph Mohamed. And finally, what a bargain this is, £3.6 million from Hertha Berlin. Jim Bruin-Slot is going to be our new first choice striker. You love to see it. We've had some issues scoring goals, so hopefully this guy will come in and try and solve some of those issues. Really a very quick player with some great acceleration and decent pace. Obviously the finishing, dribbling, first touch are pretty high. Could be a little bit higher on finishing, but we can't complain too much. 22 years old, that will improve quite nicely as well still. And again, some very good mentals. Has a pretty decent goal scoring record, maybe not quite at the top flight level, but has got 23 goals in 34 games that season for the second division, second team at Hertha Berlin, which is very good. Obviously got a good pedigree about him, so I think he'll come in and score, hopefully, a lot of goals for us. So they are all of the transfers. I'm not sure if there'll be any more or not. We've still got money to spend if we want to, another £32 million if you need to, but we've already spent 73 million. We've sold £54 million, rising to about £60 million once the other chap leaves, the Brazilian guy, Luis, once he leaves. So I think we've had a pretty good transfer window in my opinion, and I'm really pleased with what we've done. I think we've really improved the squad. We've got rid of some deadwood, we've got rid of some below average players, and whilst we've not replaced them with world-class players that we might have wanted to bring in at some point or thought we could be able to bring in, we've definitely brought in some leading players for this division, which I think is what this club needed. There is a bit of a downside to bringing all these players in very recently, and that is the European football registration periods. They keep coming in between games where you can only register one extra player. And you may have seen in the news, I'm not showing you this actually, in the news, we've got to register the players for this next game against Randers. We've got two players that come into the squad very recently, Mohamed and Bruin-Slot, and we can only register one of them. It says one replacement, so we're going to really annoy one of them. We need to take Luis out because he's injured and he's going to leave the squad very soon. So we're going to take him out and put Mohamed into the squad. If we can't put Jim in because obviously we only made one replacement. So there we go. We'll put Mohamed in to have that extra midfielder, but Jim is going to get really cross with us. He's currently got perfect morale, and it's going to be absolutely just shot to pieces right now. So we've confirmed that he's not in the squad, Jim, for this next game. And of course, he's very cross with us now. Has now got abysmal. We can't really get around this, and we can't. It's so annoying because he's joined the club just at the wrong time for registration periods, and we've had a few situations like this throughout the summer where this has happened. And I thought I'd get this on camera for you just to show you that it feels a bit broken, because surely they should be aware only one player can be registered, but obviously they're not aware of that. So we'll get you in next time, and he said yes to that, but his morale's gone from perfect to poor now. So you hate to see it. Next up, we need to go through what's happened since you guys were last here in terms of the fixtures. And we've gone through quite a few games, to be fair, but it has been quite nice to play a good session of games and get to know some of these players a little bit better and sort of find those weaknesses in the squad and think we need to improve on that. Hence why we've brought in like an extra centre-back and stuff like that. So you were last here for that 0-0 draw with two, and I said 0-0 victory. I think I've said that before a few times. It's been called out in the comment section. The 0-0 draw with Arsenal Tula, which was quite frustrating given that we had 22 shots in that game. Wasn't great. We then had a 1-1 draw with Zenit St. Petersburg. Dodi scored a penalty in that game, but again, 15 shots to their 8 shots. We should have done a bit better in that game. And as you can see from a lot of these games, we do struggle to score goals. We don't struggle with the chance creation, but we do struggle to score goals. Hence why I've brought in a new striker very recently, but we already knew we needed to do that anyway. We then had our first win of the season against Lokomotiv Moscow, with Popov, the striker, scoring a goal in that game. But again, look at this, 16 shots, only 1 goal. You'd like to think you'd get a few more goals in that one. We then had 2 legs against this part-time team from Azerbaijan in the Europa Conference League second qualifying round, 10-0 on aggregate. Fantastic wins there, very pleased with that. And right in the middle of it, we had a 1-1 draw with Rostov, and again, 18 shots, only the 1 goal. It was disappointing. Moving into August, where we've got quite a lot of games this month. We started off against Ruben Kazan with a 2-0 victory, with Amelin, who's like a backup attacking midfielder, and Markovic, the backup striker, scoring goals in that game. But again, 30 shots in that game and not scoring enough goals for my liking, at least, which I was a little bit disappointed with. We then had 2 legs against Dinamo Minsk in the Europa Conference League, third qualifying round, 6-1 on aggregate there, with including Popov scoring 4 goals in 1 game there. So he can score goals despite only having 10 finishing, but he's just not quite good enough for me. I just can't quite get on with Popov for some reason, despite him scoring 4 goals in 1 game. In between those Europa League games, we had our only loss of the league season so far against Akhmat, which was a little bit frustrating considering we sold them 3 players, including the goalkeeper who's kept a clean sheet against us, which was frustrating. But again, they actually were the slightly better side, but we had enough chances to score goals. We just couldn't do it for some reason. That was a very frustrating game to lose that one. But we did come back with a 4-1 victory against Krylia, I think is potentially how you pronounce his team name. We won 4-1 there. Dodi with a brace, Oblyakov with 1, and again, that Popov guy popping up with goals. But again, I don't know what it is that I don't like about him. I don't know what it is. He's got 2 goals in the league, but he's got 6 goals in 6 starts, altogether. But 4 of them were in 1 game. I'm just not too sure. But that's what we've done in between episodes. We do struggle to score goals apart from we're playing, relatively easy opposition. But what you may have noticed is we don't concede many goals at all. And that's actually, I'm very happy with that, if I'm honest with you, because we brought Fruchtel in. He wasn't quite as good as we thought it was going to be for the price we've paid for him. But actually, he's done a stellar job so far. We can't really fault him because we've done very well, picking up points in every game apart from 1, so he's done well. But now that's all out of the way, we can finally start to get into today's games and hopefully 3 victories coming up. This is the game against Randers. It's the first leg of the 4th qualifying round. Win this and we go through into the Europa Conference League group stages, which is absolutely fantastic. We've got Fruchtel in goal. He's been absolutely fantastic for us all season thus far. Horny starting at left back alongside new signing Sadikov, Anton and Borisov, also a new signing in there for you. New signings as well, Lenigel and Mohamed start in that midfield partnership behind another new signing in Cherchev. We've got Mel, I can't really say his name, I always struggle with it, so I might just actually set the nickname and just call him Gregory, because that's a little bit easier for me to say. And on the other side, I've not renamed him yet, but I've just been calling him Dodi. I know who it is, but Dodi is just easier to say than, not Dodd. Actually, I quite like Dodd, to be fair, but Dodi, there we go. Have him there. So we've got Dodi on one side, Gregory on the other, and Popov up front. I keep rotating him and Markovic around, but neither of them are really scoring or being consistent with their goals. So hopefully once he's registered, this guy, Brun Slot, will come in and score plenty. Right then, kickoff is upon us here today. Hopefully we win today's game 4 or 5-0 and it just takes all the pressure off us for the second leg. And to be fair, if we do win this 4 or 5-0, there might not be any point showing the second leg on camera, because by that point you think it's pretty routine that we'd win that game and things like that. So kind of hoping that sort of happens. But it is Randers FC coming forward who score the goal. So it's not really what I wanted, was it? 1 shot, 1 goal for Randers FC. We've not got anywhere near having a shot yet, apparently. But we might have a chance right now as Popov's been put through over the top by Lenigel. Popov 1-on-1 with the keeper. Can't put it past him, unfortunately. And that's what that 10 finishing is, isn't it? That 10 finishing just means he's never really going to be able to score those 1-on-1 situations, particularly against keepers at this sort of level, which is why I'm just not that keen on Popov. But Lenigel lining it with the free kick puts that one in the back of the net, and that's why we signed him, for free kick taking ability like that. His 3rd of the season already for Lenigel. Beautiful stuff. What a great free kick. Keeper couldn't do anything about it, and we're back on level terms. Now we're looking to build out from the back a little bit as Mohamed on his... It might be his debut, actually, for Mohamed. It could be his debut. Yeah, I think it is his debut. Yeah, it definitely is. As Gregory coming forward, or Georg... Gregory. It's not even Gregory, is it? I've just seen it's not Gregory, and I've been calling him Gregory. It's not that at all. It's Georgie. But I've got Gregory in my head now, so it's now just going to be called Gregory, or just Greg for short. Just Greg. I'm happy with Greg. Another free kick for us though. Another Lenny Gel special coming up potentially, and another Lenny Gel special has come up there to give us the lead 10 minutes from half time. Fourth of the season for him. You love to see it. What you don't love to see though is what we've had 7 shots. I'm going to say 5 of those are from open play. And we've not even had a highlight from open play yet, which does worry me. Half-time, though, 2-1 up. Fantastic stuff for us. Hopefully, we're just going to romp home for the victory. Come on, then. Another free kick for us. This time wasn't Lenny Gel taking it, but he just put the ball in the middle into Gregory, and Popov puts that one in the back of the net. You love to see it. Lenny Gel, it's a great cross from him. Gregory with a good header down, and Popov is just there to tip it past the goalkeeper, and that is his 7th goal. I can't explain why I don't like him, because he's already got quite a good number of goals. I know a lot of them have, come in one-off games and things like that. You got 4 in one game and stuff like that. But there's just something about him that I just don't seem to like. And now we're down to the final few minutes or so. We probably should make a couple of changes very quickly just to keep things a little bit fresh on the pitch out there. We've got another game coming up very shortly, so obviously we want to be keeping players fit and ready to play. But that's going to be that. 3-1 against Randers. I'm pretty confident that we should be going through, but it's still close enough for it to be turned around. Great game from Lenny Gel, though. He was absolutely fantastic. Keep it up, lad, and you'll be playing every single week at this rate. So now that we're sort of focusing on the league game, we can have a look at the league table now as well. So we've played 7 games so far, and we've managed to get 12 points from that, which I'm kind of happy with. We're nearly averaging 2 points a game, and if you want to be near the top of the table come the end of the season, you've got to be averaging 2 points a game or so. As it stands right now, Zenit are top of the table with their only blemish on their record coming in that 1-1 draw with us, which I'm pretty pleased with. Spartak have also won 6, but they've lost 1 of those games as well. We need to stop drawing games, and we need to score some more goals to try and catch up with those teams. We are, as you can see, already 7 points behind Zenit, which is quite a long way after only 7 games, but we're just getting started. The team are gelling together again, because obviously we've had a big overhaul of players. They're gelling together. I think by the halfway point of the season, we'll be winning games week in, week out easily. At least that's the plan. That's the plan in my head, at least. That might not happen, but we need it to happen, really. Jude Bellingham just been sold to PSG for £114 million as well. That is a ridiculously big transfer. As for the game against Dinamo Moscow, the only change I think I want to make is taking Popov off. Take him off the pitch, I should say. We can actually have 12 substitutes in the league, so that's something to think about. But we were going to bring Jim Bruin's slot on in to have his debut and hopefully score plenty of goals for us. And so kickoff is upon us today for one of the many Moscow derbies. This time it's against Dinamo Moscow, and hopefully we'll score a nice early goal here as Horny into Mohamed into Lenny Gel, who's been the best player so far this episode. Back to Mohamed. They're passing between each other. Dodi into Cherchev, can't quite get there. And Itzan is coming forward now for Dinamo Moscow. They actually going to score on the counter-attack. Is that Rafael Santos Borre? He puts the cross in and eventually the ball goes well wide. But if Dinamo Moscow got Rafael Santos Borre, which I think they do, because Borre down there, he is a fantastic South American striker who is very, very good across a number of Football Manager games. If you've not signed him at some point, try and sign him because he's a very, very good striker. Either way, they are coming forward still, Dinamo Moscow, and they have scored. And it's that man, the danger man that I've literally just highlighted, Rafael Santos Borre, with the goal. You hate to see it. Obviously, there is still going to be a lot of gelling going on because we have got a lot of new faces in the squad as Dinamo Moscow go 2-0 up. Not the best at all as they look to extend their place in 4th position. We need to really turn things round, but I think we've got at least 6 new faces in the starting 11 right now. We've got Horny, for example. Greg's one. No, Greg isn't one. He's just a new nickname. We've got Horny, Mohamed. Cherchev's a new player as well. They all combined there. They're not going to have gelled together properly. Fructal's new at the back. We've got a new centre-back, a new right-back. In fact, let me have a quick look at this. Once this highlight finishes, we can have a quick look. Fructal's new, Borisov is new, Sandikov's new, Horny's new, Lenny Gel's new, Mohamed's new, Cherchev's new, and Bruin's slot is new. That's 8 new players in the starting 11. It's going to take time to gel, and we're not going to win the league this season. We're just not going to win it this season. I know we're not. We're already far. If we lose this game, we're going to be 10 points behind Zenit after 8 games. It's too far behind already. we're not going to win the league this season, I've decided. I can just feel that now, and we potentially might get sacked for it. But I think we do have a great shot of winning potentially the Cup, because I think by the time the big rounds of the Cup come around, we're going to be a really good, well-drilled, oiled squad to win something like that. And I think we'll do really well in the Europa Conference League as well. So that might help save our bacon a little bit if we don't win the league title. But I do think it's going to take a good half a season for all these players to properly gel and be able to beat teams like Dinamo Moscow rather than lose 3-0. I mean, Dinamo Moscow, they're favourite to come 5th this season. We're favourite to come 4th or 4th this season. So it should be a lot closer than it is, but it's not. Dinamo Moscow looking to try and make it 4. It's been the worst game for us so far this season. This will be our biggest loss if we end up losing it 3-0 or more, for example. It's not been a great game at all. A terrible one for you guys to watch, but obviously they've shown up and turned up for this derby, whereas we just haven't been interested in the derby. And what on earth was that from Borisov? I'm not entirely sure. Luckily, their shot hit the post. And actually, with about 25 minutes or so to go, I think Dodi does need to come off for, where is he? Statin. There we go. Or Stain, I should say. He can come on. And given he's had a bit of a poor debut and he's looking quite anxious out there, we'll take Brun's slot off and we'll bring Markovic on instead. I think it's probably a bit too late for us to think about even drawing the game or anything like that, but Stain actually comes very close from putting that into the back of the net from distance. Unfortunately, it's just not quite our day. We'll say get creative and go on to very attacking for the final few moments, but it's not going to really solve anything right now. Mohamed into Cherchiev into Lenigel, into Mohamed, into Cherchiev. Nice passing play into Horny, into Cherchiev, who shoots from distance, and it actually goes in the end. Cherchiev does get the goal there, and he runs to pick the ball up to bring it back to the centre circle, which you love to see, but it is a bit too little too late. And again, I've just seen the stats. We create the opportunities, we just can't score them. Unless we're playing against rubbish teams like in the Europa Conference League, we really struggle to convert the chances that we create for ourselves. And we should not have lost that game 3-1, but we have done. So as you can see, we are still a bit of a work in progress at the moment. Lenigel's playing particularly well, but he's played in this system before. He knows exactly what to do in this system. So that's why he's playing so well, and that's why he's probably quite integral to keeping the starting lineup for a while. So rather disappointing to lose that game, but hopefully we're just going to see this game out against Randers, and then we'll have the Europa Conference League draw, and then we'll finish up the episode there. So it is quite a long one today. I think I'm already been recording for 40 minutes. It's going to have to be cut down quite a bit to try and make it a reasonable length for you, but I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. And if you have done, please do drop a like on the video for me, and of course subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. So for the game against Randers, we take Bruin's slot off because he's obviously not registered for this one. So we'll bring Popov back on the pitch for this one after he's had a rest. I want to take Horny off the pitch because I want to bring on, is it this guy? Is it this chap? It is this chap who is a 17-year-old left back who's come through the youth system here at CSKA Moscow. And he's got 5-star potential and 2.5-star current ability at 17 years old. He looks very, very good. And I think we need to give him some game time this season alongside Horny. So he's going to play this particular game. Dodi is looking particularly tired out there, so we're going to take him off and bring Stain on and see what he can do on that right-hand side. Stain is like the youngster who's come through again. He's got 4.5-star potential. 2-star current ability is a little bit low, but again, at 19 years old, will only improve. I think it might be important to give Mohamed a rest for this one and bring Obliakov on, who's one of the really good midfielders that we've got. Not centre-back, midfielders that we've got. He's a very good player, so hopefully he might try and change things a little bit. But other than that, I think we'll leave the side as it is. Right then, kickoff is upon us against Randers. Hopefully we're going to have some good news here as the corner goes all the way through to Anton, who loses possession. And are we going to concede another early goal? Hopefully not, as Boris gets it back to Fruchtel, and Fruchtel can hopefully do something clever with it as he looks to launch it all the way up to Sadikov. A very short pass there in the end, but Sadikov gets it up to Akaviv. I'm going to struggle to say his name as well. Greg, though, into Stain. They're two easy names I can say, as Stain gets the opening goal of the game, and I think his first goal for the club as well. So we're currently 4-1 up against the Danish side. We have nullified their away goal as well, which is very handy. So hopefully from here on out, it's just going to be a really routine win. As again, we're trying to have a bit of success down that left-hand side, although we do lose possession. And the Danish lads can start to come forward instead as they get the ball and keep possession nicely, working it out wide, working it back into the middle of the park a little bit. They're being very patient with getting the ball up. very patient. Perhaps they're playing a bit of a control possession tactic. Although saying that, we are having 71% possession, so maybe it's not control possession as they, again, can't quite get it out of their own half as nearly good interception there, but instead they get it through a little bit, finally into our half, out onto that right-hand side and into the area now. They've come forward with a bit of pace, but luckily for us, they can't shoot for toffee. What? They've won a penalty? When did they... How did they win a penalty? What happened there? I literally... It went out for a goal kick. I looked down to pick up my water, looked back up, and penalty. Well, that's 1-1 on the score sheet. That was a little bit bizarre, but are we going to make it 2-1? We are going to make it 2-1. Sadikov this time with the goal, the new centre-back getting his second for the club. Importantly, actually, that second goal obviously means that we have that away goal advantage as well. So, I mean, should we possibly need it, as we now go 3-1 up? I don't think we're going to need it, but if suddenly Randers decide to score 4 more goals, we'll be going through anyway, so it's okay. But the rest of the second half is looking pretty comfortable for us. I think... Again, we'll bring Markovic on for Popov to give him a bit of game time at the end. Cherchev can come off. We'll swap him with Oblyakov and then bring Mohamed on for a little bit of game time as well. And London, who has been a little bit unlucky to be dropped from the side after the signing of Sadikov, the Swedish centre-back who we met last episode, is going to finish off the game here as well. In the meantime, though, Randers are doing their best to try and get back into the ties. They look to bring the ball forward, but we've got some really good pressing and pressure here. And can we snatch the ball? Oh, we do. Popov gets the ball, and he's in behind the defence now. Can we grab another goal here into Stain? Oh, it's not really the best pass in the world at all, is it? That was a bit frustrating, but we do have possession still as Akiv puts the ball into Lenigel. Lenigel to shoot from distance, maybe not, plays it out to Borisov instead. We just need to get this ball into the box and we can try and do something clever with it. We are holding on possession quite nicely, but we're just not really creating anything that good as Borisov finally gets it forward a little bit, but is tackled. And our Randers, no, what was that highlight for? What was that highlight for? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. This time Oblyakov on the ball into Greg. Greg into the middle, shoots, and it's hit the crossbar. I mean, that was a highlight. Hit the crossbar. The one before that, what was that about? Either way, it doesn't matter. We won the game 3-1, 6-2 on aggregate, and we are going through to the group stages of the Europa Conference League. Also, right at the end of today's episode, Douglas Luiz is leaving us to go to Copenhagen for £7.25 million, which is good. He's off the books now. We're saving quite a bit of money in that regard as well, which is good. Apparently, the draw for the Europa League has just gone past. It said it was meant to be like yesterday, but it's not Where is the Euro Cup 2? That's what we're looking for, isn't it? One team hasn't played yet. Why have these guys not played? When are they playing? Oh, quite a while away. But as it says there, the draw should be Friday the 27th of August, and it's now the 29th of August. Not entirely sure what's going on here, but we've now got to play another game before we get through to a possible draw. So, anticlimax of the season, because of also potential I want to do some more transfer business rather than actually just rush through to this. So, you'll find out next episode who we've got in the Europa Conference League. I'll do a draw on camera and I'll put that at the start of the next episode and things like that. So it's, you've got that excitement still, but you have to wait for tomorrow to see that, unfortunately. So thank you ever so much for watching today's episode. It's been a bit up and down. Obviously, we've got to where we want to get to in Europa Conference League, but a 3-1 loss there to Dinamo Moscow is disappointing. But on the same side, we have brought in some great transfers, and once they finally all gel together nicely, we will be an absolutely unstoppable machine, I think. So, of course, if you enjoyed today's episode, please do drop a like on the video for me, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Goodbye.